Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Philip Howard.
Good morning. I'm here to talk about red tape, my favorite topic. We're living off the infrastructure built by our great-grandparents. It doesn't work very well for this century. It's inefficient, unsafe, wastes time and money, as Professor Cantor said. So why haven't we rebuilt it? Studies suggest that funding would be a good investment, returning about $1.40 on each dollar of investment in new infrastructure. And indeed, we did have funding in the $800 billion 2009 stimulus plan, but after 5 years, only 3.6% of that money had been spent on transportation infrastructure. Well, it turns out that there's a hidden barrier. Actually, it's more of a jungle. It's a jungle of red tape. It can take a decade or longer to go through environmental review and get the permits for any infrastructure, and no one, not even the President of the United States, duly elected by a majority of Americans, has the authority to cut through it. Much of this time and effort is senseless. Here's the Bayonne Bridge. The roadway is currently too low for the new generation of efficient post-Panamax ships to get into Newark Harbor. They thought they were going to have to tear it down and spend $4 billion on a new bridge or tunnel. Then a lifetime employee of the Port Authority, Joanne Papageorgis is the name of this public servant hero, had the idea of just raising the roadway in the existing arch. It was brilliant. It also had almost no environmental impact. Used the same foundations as the existing bridge, same right-of-way. Here's what it took to get a permit. A 5-year review process, 50 permits from 20 different agencies, 20,000 pages of environmental and other reviews, a study of all historic homes within a 2-mile radius of the bridge, even though the bridge wasn't touching any homes, and an invitation to Native American tribes all across the country to participate in the process. Now, we treat all these requirements like they're a state of nature, but no one, in fact, actually deliberately designed this ridiculous process. It just piled up, like sediment in the harbor or something. We imagine and we're told that all this process makes decisions better. So Common Good, which is a not-for-profit which I chair, did a study on the effects of delay in approving infrastructure. The report came out last month. Here's what we found. A 6-year delay more than doubles the cost of infrastructure, including the prolonged inefficiencies, bottlenecks and such. On a national level, the cost of delay totals $3.7 trillion compared to a total bill of $1.7 trillion to fix all the needed infrastructure in this country through the end of the decade. But cost isn't the only problem. We also found that lengthy environmental review dramatically harms the environment because it prolongs all those traffic jams and other bottlenecks with cars and railroads and others spewing fuel into the air. The archaic power grid in this country wastes electricity that's the equivalent of 200 coal-burning power plants. It's completely economic to rebuild this power grid, but we're not doing it because the approval system is too uncertain. Locally, not building the third rail tunnel under the Hudson on a timely basis will be an environmental disaster because one of the existing 2 tunnels has to be rebuilt for repairs because of damage caused by Superstorm Sandy. Imagine the traffic jams when we cut the capacity of passenger rail tunnel by 50% if that third rail tunnel is not completed. So what's the solution? Solution is actually quite simple. We ought to put a time limit on review. Other countries, greener countries like Germany, do reviews, they have environmental reviews, in 1 year to 2 years. And you have to create clear lines of authority to get to these time limits. Common Good, at the request of House leadership in Congress, has legislative amendments pending before Congress right now, which would give authority to the Council on Environmental Quality to decide when there's been enough review, give authority to the White House to resolve disputes among agencies which inevitably occur, to get permits, and to put lawsuits on a fast track. The total legislative language to accomplish what I just talked about is a page and a half. If we do these things, we'll be able to improve America's competitiveness, achieve a greener environmental footprint, and create about 2 million new jobs all within the next couple of years. My lesson to you, my message to you, is that unless we first remake our legal infrastructure, we're going to continue to have a very hard time rebuilding our decrepit physical infrastructure. If you'd like to get involved, go to commongood.org, the report's out front, or talk to an MAS staffer, and we're going to be working with MAS to shorten the review process in New York. Thanks very much.